not oil, not natural resources. Tech is power.
It's like my school tablet. Grandpa, I'm home. I missed you. Grandpa, I have a very serious question for you.
Okay, I am all ears.
Grandpa, are you intelligent?
Of course, Grandpa is intelligent.
How do you know?
No, because I can see and recognize you. I can learn, make decisions based on information, and lots more.
Grandpa, you are living in the past. Today, gadgets can also reason and make instant decisions based on information. Haha.
I hope you are not saying gadget is also intelligent.
That is exactly what I'm saying. Today, technology can learn to do things. It can make instant decisions based on what it sees, hear, or sense. That is called artificial intelligence.
A. Technology can learn to do things, respond, or even make instant decisions based on what it sees, hears. That is what we call artificial intelligence.
Though machines can assist, the real intelligence is you, the farmer who knows the soil by touch, the mother who knows her child's cry, the teacher who remembers every student's story,
And the doctor who diagnoses, not oil, not natural resources. Tech is power. Greetings everyone and welcome to this maiden edition of AI for Good Africa, brought to you by DACSi. I'm John Agbo. I'm sure you enjoyed that short drama between little Manyia and Granpa. Manyia had learned something in school about artificial intelligence and she was excited. She couldn't wait to get home and share her knowledge with Grandpa. And she asked a direct question. Grandpa, are you intelligent? And of course, Grandpa, with an air of elderly pride, said, yes, of course, Grandpa is intelligent. And Manyia went ahead to explain to Grandpa why gadgets or technology had also become intelligent. You know, never in the history of mankind has such a technology been invented. From the agricultural to the industrial revolution and down to even the information age, all technologies have at best been such that we humans give them instructions. They are fed with what we call firmware or codes or logic or instructions, such that the technology is told if the input is this, then do that. If the input is that, then do this. And so that's how it has been. But for the first time, we have a technology that actually learns.
All right, class. Today we learn how to mesh.
There is a key characteristic that makes an entity intelligent, and that is the ability to learn autonomously on its own, to learn and then make decisions, instantaneous decisions, based on the knowledge that has been gathered, based on what has been learned over time. This is exactly what artificial intelligence is. I'll give you a very good example. Now think of here in the continent, we have instances, a nurse maybe in the hinterland, in the villages. You have the rural areas where you could have just like one nurse to maybe 100 patients. And then the nurse has this technology where the people can cough into some gadget or whatever it is that could listen to the sound of the cough and is able to tell whether the patient has TB or pneumonia or just cold. And this gadget is able to do that because it had learned over time from information that has been fed from reviews of cough that doctors have made. And so it is able to compare with what it had learned following the sound of the cough and tell if it's pneumonia, if it's tuberculosis, or if it's just cold. Note that in this situation, the gadget was not just programmed to return cold or pneumonia or whatever. The gadget had actually learned. I'll give you a better example. Now, imagine that you need to quickly fix yourself some rice to eat. The stove is just an equipment that generates the heat for you, but you have to decide the amount of rice and the quantity of water and the duration and the intensity of the flame or the amount of heat and the duration. And you need to monitor it. And then eventually, you ensure that the rice is properly cooked. Now, imagine if you have an equipment or your stove or whatever device is it that has been invented, And the device is able to learn how to cook rice. And the device says, okay, let's go with 2 cups of rice, for instance. And then you have 2 measures of rice. And you put the appropriate quantity of water, and then you put it and you monitor it with the heat and the duration and everything, and it's cooked. And then again, you say, okay, now let's do with 3 cups, and 5 cups, and 7 cups, and 10 cups, and 15 cups, maybe. And then the device or technology learn how to fix you rice because of these trials. It learned. And so next time, all you need to do is just put any quantity of rice that you like. 5.5 cups, 5 3/4, 7 cups, 25 cups, 30 cups, or whatever measures, or just 1 measure, or just a quarter measure. And the technology is able to fix you that rice. And the technology prepares it until the rice is properly cooked, and it turns itself off and informs you, gives you an alert that the rice is cooked. And you check and the rice is truly cooked. Now, you didn't program it to say, fix me this rice for this. No, the technology just knows what to do because it learned by practice with you. And so that's exactly how we human beings learn. And that's what makes artificial intelligence different from any other technology that humans have ever created. It is a technology like no other. It is the first time that you have a technology that can actually learn by itself about the world, exactly the way a little baby learns.
We learn, we reason, we do, ha ha.
Yeah!
And is able to make its own decisions. That's exactly what Manyia was trying to let Granpa know. So if there is any takeaway you should have from this episode, is the fact that artificial intelligence is all about technology that can learn by itself. Now, a final example. Now, when you pick up your iPhone and you say, hey Siri, for the first time, you discover that it tries to profile your voice, to learn your voice. And it says, can you say this is a boy? And you say, oh, this is a boy, just like the Jamaicans will say. And then it learns and you say, oh, this person pronounces boy as boy. Okay, I've noted it. And then it tells you, say, hey, I'm good. And you say what you want to say. And then it learns about the way you pronounce words. It profiles your voice, the frequency of your voice, the texture and everything. And so when you speak freely next time, it knows exactly what you have said. It learned it. There was no instruction, there was no programming to say if he says boy, then you should know it is boy. It learned it by itself. Because someone else could say boy. Because it knows that it asked you to say this is a boy, it is able to tell that you pronounce boy as boy. And that way it's able to learn your voice. And so when you interact with it, it continues to give you the correct result. And in a situation where it probably doesn't understand exactly what you say, it would ask you again to repeat it. So that's it about artificial intelligence. So that is the technology that we're dealing with. So going forward, it's important we have this at the back of our mind when we deal with artificial intelligence. Thank you very much for sparing this time to be with us. We're very pleased. And remember, as we always say in AI for Good Africa, not oil, not natural resources. Tech is power.